Hello everyone, Kaoz here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. People play this game for multiple reasons. Socializing with friends or family, a sandbox game to get a small distraction from real life, or the sense of achievement for finally hitting a big goal you've been hunting for. I think that we can all agree on one thing though, and it is that number go up is good. And whether you plan on it or not, we're always working towards one big goal, and that is maxing your RuneScape account. Boys and girls, thanks to your wonderful support, the channel made it to the finals for the Golden Gnomes in our category. If you've enjoyed our weekly videos in nearly 4 years, I'd appreciate voting for me with the link in the description, and you can find me in the last section. Don't forget to vote for Falco AJ as well, and I'll be at RuneFest to see the reveals live. So best of luck to all the nominees. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and join our Discord for good luck. It's been 2 years since my maxing series and my revamped 1 to 99 guides, and 2025 marks the year where we will see some updated 1 to 99s thanks to the wonderful content we've received over these 2 years. In this video, I want to go over some tips for the maxing grind, and especially how I would max my OSRS account if I had to do it all over again. I will give you a quick breakdown on how to get every 99, and you can chime in down below to participate in our weekly bond giveaway. But now, let's get into my personal maxing walkthrough in 2025. The very first thing I want to do is explain my mentality for the maxing grind back from 2018 to 2020. I will also go over a few tips that severely improve the grind to make it more tolerable, and that I still stand by to this day. You don't need to see this as a whole max and grind mentality, but you can apply it to any 99 or even a smaller goal you want to achieve. First off, you can't set yourself the goal of obtaining a max cape without asking yourself why you want to do it. For me, I wanted to get every 99 in the game after quitting RuneScape 2 back in 2011, and the fact that I stopped playing without achieving all my goals kinda left me wishing I did it before jumping ship prior to the evolution of combat. You gotta be really honest with yourself and ask why you want that shiny red cape, because you simply don't want to get it and lose all motivation to play, because you feel lost after obtaining it. This one is pretty simple, but when you figure out why you want to max, you have to be mentally prepared for the grind ahead of you. In order to achieve every 99 in the game, even if you do it relatively quickly, this is something that will take anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 hours on average. To a lot of people, this means something like learning a new language, starting a new business, or working out, just to mention a few. Just know that this is something that will take a few years at minimum, and you gotta be ready to stick to it and avoid burnout. Something I've mentioned in other videos is that in order to achieve a big goal, the best thing to do is break it down into smaller chunks. If you think about going from no max cape to max cape, for example, it will be hard to notice progress. If you instead break it down into individual 99s, or 99s that go well together, you will be heading towards your goal slowly but surely. You will also see this tip being recommended for a lot of other things like losing weight, because if you see that you're not reaching your goals as fast as you would like, it will be pretty easy to lose motivation. And speaking about breaking down goals, if you're serious about maxing, or getting any 99 you want, I heavily recommend setting a daily experience goal you can achieve according to the amount of hours you can play. On my way to maxing, I had a physical calendar in which I wrote my target experience for the day in the skill I was training. I remember writing down 400k runecrafting experience per day, and if I reached it, I could grind more, or take the rest of the day off to do something more fun. Having a physical reminder of your progress, not just for old school RuneScape, but anything you do, is actually great motivation. This is a big one, and especially if you have other people to play with, I heavily suggest not comparing yourself, whether it be experience, bank value, or overall skill in the game. Remember that comparison is a thief of joy, and if you have a family and a full-time job and are only able to play 1 or 2 hours a day, and you compare yourself to the guy that can play up to 12 hours a day with tons of achievements, you will be discouraged quite quickly. Always keep in mind that the only person you should compare yourself to is the player you were yesterday, so every bit of experience will put you ahead of your past self. When going for your 99s, a method you can do for multiple hours is better than the absolute fastest method that you can only stomach for a few minutes. When I maxed, I researched methods like 3-tick granite and 2-tick harpooning, but actually doing them just made me want to vomit. I stuck to the mother lode mine and power mining iron for mining, and AFK barbarian fishing because it's just something I could do without wanting to low alch myself. Remember that slow and steady wins the race, so always try different methods to see which one is best for you. Last but not least, remember that this is just a game and that you should always have fun with it. I know that most of the fun in old school RuneScape just comes from numbers going up, but if you don't enjoy something, simply don't do it until you absolutely have to. An additional tip I have for this one that is related to what I just said is that if you find a community of people to play with and that encourage your goals, they will go much faster. We have a ton of players in different stages of the game willing to help you out and make the grind more tolerable, so join our Discord if you want a chilled clan with no requirements. The next section of the video will go over how I would personally get every 99 all over again, of course with current methods and not going back to my maxing era between 2018 and 2020. Big emphasis on personal, because I will mention methods I enjoy, and other good ones that provide good experience per hour, good GP per hour, or even both. Remember that this will change depending on your playstyle, and that I will only briefly talk about each skill to avoid a yapping session that could be a short guide. Combat is pretty straightforward. Just train melee and ranged along Slayer, and you're good to go. Of course, that's easier said than done, and we have a ton of things that can make this experience a lot better. First of all, if you're a returning player or simply a current one but want to start a new account, we have a ton of early game quests that will put you at base of 30s or even 40s just for a few hours of playtime. I won't mention every single quest, but the easy ones that come to mind are the Witch's House for HP, Waterfall Quest for attack and strength, the Fight Arena, Trinium Village, and the Granted Tree for attack, Holy Grail for prayer and defense, and Monkey Madness 1 for a good chunk of experience in HP, attack, strength, and defense. I would personally start doing Slayer at Vanica, for which you only need level 40 combat, but if you want to speed it up just a little bit, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I would train at Ammonite or Sandcrabs until combat level 70 to be able to use Cheldar at Sonaris so she can assign meaningful Slayer monsters for the mid-game. From here on out, getting a quest cape will naturally put you at combat level 90 or even 100, and this is where I would just honestly stop worrying about experience gains and just slay anything I am told, since experience will come flying in. If you want to speed things up, Scurious is an insane way to get experience now, and even better than the Nightmare Zone because of the accelerated experience rates. Don't forget your Rat to Bone weapon to demolish the Rat King, and make those combat skill capes achievable in record time. Most of the previous talk was about melee combat, but ranged is closely related to what I just mentioned. Whether it be Ammonite or Sandcrabs for the early game and Slayer for the mid and late game, experience gain here is pretty straightforward and doesn't have as many weapon choices as melee. I would buy myself short bows from levels 1 all the way to 66 and use the best arrows at my disposal for the highest damage output. A new item by the name Sunblight Hunter Crossbow, I've mentioned before, came in with the first part of Valimor, and it is now the best DPS in the game between a magic shortbow and a blowpipe. With antler bolts in your ammo slot, this item would never leave my bank for a long time, or until I get level 75. When you get to this level though, a blowpipe is still an incredibly convenient item to do casual Slayer, and you will only really need a crossbow for monsters with higher defense. With the Dwarf Multi-Cannon, ranged will be one of the most chill 99s you will ever get, and you're not really going to need to worry about experience or efficiency too much. If your plan is to speedrun the skill though, using Chinchompas at the Monkey Madness 2 caves is still the way to go. This provides obscene experience per hour as soon as you can equip the grey, red, and black Chinchompas, and you will gain upwards of 900,000 experience per hour in the early or mid-level 90s. Even the range levels are important for activities like bossing or raids. I wouldn't really worry about speedrunning it past the 90 because DPS will still be pretty good. And even better if you have ranging potions at your disposal. Prayer is a complicated one because this will depend on how much money you're willing to spend on it and how fast you want to get it done. For the early game, it is almost mandatory to have 43 at the minimum because protection prayers will carry you through early game questing. You then need level 70 and completion of the King's Ransom to achieve Piety, and 77 for both the Rigor and Augury. The only thing you truly need a higher level for is completion of the Elite Desert Diary, requiring level 85 and fully restore prayer at the altar in Sophonim. The other important thing to mention is completion of the Hard or Elite Mauritania and the Current Diary, so you can get your hands on the Bone Crusher and Ash Sanctifier respectively, and get passive prayer experience when doing Slayer. As to how I would personally get level 99 in 2025, I'm gonna say something very weird. I would get 99 mining first, and for my AFK activity of choice, I would go to the mines in Camtorum. This provides bone shards which will then be used at Offerings of Rallos, and getting from 17 to 20 million experience for me got me enough shards for around 1.5 million prayer experience. Offerings to Rallos is now the most efficient way to use your bones because they will offer more experience per item. Granted, it's gonna take a long time to prepare the ingredients. If you want to get 99 prayer on a budget, you simply cannot skip out on this new training method. If I had more money to use and get prayer out of the way quicker, the traditional gilded altar houses in World 330 would still be my method of choice for a quick 99. Magic is an interesting one because we have so many paths to 99 that I would end up taking several minutes to talk about multiple ways to get there in this segment alone. So instead, I will quickly talk about how to do it AFK, profitable, and how to speedrun the skill. Keep an eye out for my updated 1 to 99 guide in the near future to include new methods and ways to achieve this skill cape. At low levels, it would be a good idea to cast Elemental Strike and the Bolt, especially against enemies that have elemental weaknesses. This will naturally bring in more experience because of the higher damage, and will make the early game magic feel insanely fast. If you want to absolutely AFK the skill at low experience per hour, enchanting jewelry can now be automatically cast with a huge delay. Do this until level 80 magic, and from then you can use a string jewelry spell on the lunar spellbook. A few levels after that, you can then cast the plank make automatically, and both of these will be great experience per hour for the low amount of effort needed. If you want to make as much money as possible, you'll be using the charge orb spells, high alchemy on profitable items, spin flax, super glass make, and then the previously mentioned plank make. Remember to check prices on the Grand Exchange before buying a big bulk of items. And lastly, if you want to speedrun the skill, you can begin tele-alching at level 55 magic, and one of the newest additions, the Cure Me spell can be spammed at the Araxide Cave for up to 440,000 experience per hour. This comes to rival burst and barrage spells on maniacal monkeys, and it requires a lot less effort but still click intensive for a good chunk of experience. I would say that training runecrafting to 99 depends on what type of account you are. If you're an Ironman, I would honestly stick to Guardians of the Rift from 27 all the way to 99 because the rune output is massive. And then I would go to select altars if I ever need a specific type of rune like Astral, Blood, or Soul. Even if you're a main account, this is something you 100% need to do at least until you get your runecrafting outfit and your abyssal needle for the colossal pouch. As an unrestricted account, the path is pretty simple. Do Guardians of the Rift until the aforementioned items, and then I would do ZMI altar running all the way to 99, since it provides the highest amount of experience per hour for the lowest amount of effort possible. Just keep in mind that the word lowest is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, because the only AFK time you get here is just from following people to the altar. For even more AFK, you don't want to miss out on Zeah runecrafting, which continues to be pretty popular, and the recent run energy changes made it even better. This will cap at about 38 or 42k experience per hour, so do this when working or doing something else. For profit, you can do pretty much whatever because pure essence is dirt cheap nowadays. Even without the runecrafting outfit and the level required for double runes, crafting nature, astral, blood, and especially wrath runes will get you a very nice amount of money on your way to 99. Finally, the fastest method in the game hasn't changed, and if you want to speedrun the skill, lava runecrafting is still the way to go. You can make it even faster by hiring runners, but this is going to cost quite a bit of GP, and should only be done if you're absolutely desperate for the runecrafting skill cape. Construction will be pretty short because not much has changed over the years. This continues to be a money sink with not many pieces of furniture being good to build on your way to one of the best skill capes in the game, so for it we only have two choices. For budget training, mahogany homes from levels 1 all the way to 99 will be the way to go. Make sure to do the Lunar Diplomacy quest to have access to NPC contact in the Lunar Spellbook, and avoid going to Falador every time you want a new assignment. Make sure to upgrade your tier of contract at levels 30, 50, and 70 to make the most out of your time. From here on out, and just like prayer, the skill mostly depends on how much money I have to blow. I personally did Oak Dungeon Doors from 74 all the way to 99 because I didn't really have a ton of money back then. But a more cost-effective piece of furniture is a cape rack after completion of Dragon Slayer 2. If you have a ton of money to blow on one of the fastest 99s in the game, mahogany tables and benches are definitely what you want to focus on and get this skill out of the way. Agility has actually received some interesting changes over the years because of two reasons. More agility courses provide marks of grace to incentivize doing something other than rooftops, but you may still want to stop by because these are still the best experience at some thresholds. Also, the addition of the Colossal Worm Agility course is, in my opinion, the lowest effort needed for any course in the game for low intensity gains. This skill is something that would change my account's game plan quite a lot. I would stick to the highest rooftop agility course I can do from levels 1 to 70, get myself a quest cape, and after Sins of the Father get level 72 in order to start running the Hallowed Sepulchre as soon as possible. As most of you know, this is objectively the best experience per hour whenever you have access to a new floor, and agility is just something I would want to get over with ASAP. If I'm craving some low effort action though, I would still stick to the highest level agility course I can. Polnivnich at level 70, Prefinus at 75, Relica at 80, and finally Artie at level 90. Remember that agility course experience rebalance made the Relica rooftop course better XP per hour, so using it is actually meaningful now. For the blue graceful and a decent mid-game experience, you might want to try the Brimhaven agility course, and for high risk versus high reward profit, you have the Wieldy agility course. Another money sink is Herblore. The most notable addition in recent years is the Mastering Mixology activity, but I'll be honest and say that this was simply another activity to cater towards Ironmen. If you play this type of account, this is a great place to train, because remember that you get more experience per herb as opposed to making potions. For unrestricted accounts though, I would simply follow my 2023 1-99 guide, because we haven't really gotten any meta-defining training method that would change anything substantially. Just like prior in construction, how fast this skill goes will depend on how much money you have to spend in order to make potions, and make the highest one you can all the way to that shiny maxscape. However, unlike construction and prayer, you actually have a profitable way to train Herblore thanks to the degrime spell in the Kaoz spellbook. Just like Mastering Mixology, you won't be getting massive experience per hour, but with the added profit as well as a good chunk of experience in magic, this spell is a great hybrid, profitable training method you definitely have to try on your way to 99. Thieving offers a ton of training methods, especially towards the end game, but I'm going to keep it short and tell you what I would do. We stick to the original early game plan of early game questing, bakery stalls, and then fruit stalls from levels 25 to 45. After the feud quest, I would do blackjack pickpocketing until level 50, and then go do the rogue's den for the rogue's outfit, and then come back here for more GP. Do this until you reach any of these important level milestones to try new content, and then see which one you like the most. Stealing artifacts at level 49, Sorcerer's Garden at level 65, Pyramid Plunder starting at either level 71 or 81, and then Artie Knight pickpocketing with 100% success rate at 95 with the medium Artie Diary. Don't forget two new methods that came in with Valimor in the form of automatically pickpocketing from wealthy citizens and stealing valuables from their houses with keys you steal from them. Thieving is a pretty click-intensive skill as it is, so I would just do AFK low-intensity games with the two Valimor methods. And then I would stick to a combination of Pyramid Plunder and Artie Knights to get this over with as soon as possible. I wouldn't really recommend pickpocketing elves or vyres because of the frustrating failure rate, but it's up to you to give these a try if you're feeling lucky for those uniques. Crafting is the last money sink heavy skill on the list, but we do have a few options to minimize losses as much as possible, and even profit a little bit. I'll start with the first one because you won't be making a ton of GP, and then the ones that cost more GP in case you make enough and want to get experience much faster to stop the bleeding. In one of my previous videos, I said that crafting drift nets was the only profitable crafting training method available, but what I meant by that is that it is the only meaningful moneymaker. Other than drift nets, you can craft the bracelets with jewels on them, or make some items out of amethyst ore. These provide very little profit, and XP per hour is not that great. Another method you can do at pretty low cost is glass blowing. If you check the experience tables on the wiki, you will notice that some gem bracelets give more experience per hour and can even profit a little bit. So what gives? Glass blowing provides super cheap experience, and you have a ton of AFK time because you can make 27 items per inventory as opposed to 13 with bracelets. You're basically paying for the convenience of being lazy, and I did light orbs from level 87 all the way to 99, and I personally do not regret it. Any extra money you can spend on crafting should definitely be used for the highest tier of dragon hide bodies you can, and with the help of the costume needle, you can now make 9 per inventory. You cap at 440,000 experience per hour with black D-hide bodies starting at level 84, so do this if you have some cash to blow on one of the best skill capes in the game. I'll make fletching quick and recommend this. If you don't have level 99 in 2025, please wait for the third part of Valimor to level up with a method that doesn't make you blow your brains out, or that will cost the tens of millions of GP. We will get a new activity soon, and if I made another account this year, I would not get a higher fletching level until it dropped. To learn more about it, go check out one of my previous videos. If you don't really want to wait for the new activity, all you can do is either AFK training by fletching unstrung bows for a little bit of profit at AFK method, or add feathers to dart or unfinished bolts that will cost a ton of GP. If you think my approach to fletching is lazy, well, I absolutely hate this skill, and you should too. Do whatever you can stomach the most on your way to 99, and then you can watch a movie or do something more valuable with your time. I think Slayer was kinda covered with the melee and range segments of the video, but if you want to train even faster, remember that you can burst, chin, or barrage enemies in multi-combat areas. Some of the most popular places are the Catacombs of Koren to kill abyssal demons, negrials, dust devils, jellies, and the blood veils to mention a few, and you can even try the reintroduced Slayer Partners feature to train with a friend and make Slayer tasks go much faster. Since there is no straight path from 1 to 99, go watch my 99 Slayer guide and my Slayer tips video to make Slayer as efficiently as possible for you. Because there are way too many things to mention in this quick summary video, and I can guarantee you're going to learn a thing or two from watching those. Like I said in one of my previous videos, and also on the same boat as Slayer, is that my recent Hunter guide and my Hunter Rumors video will have you covered on your way to 99. Go from levels 1 to 46 with early game methods, and the best way to reach level 99 is by doing Hunter Rumors with a proper block list. This is the best experience per hour and gets even better with a Hunter outfit, so get to Valimor as soon as you can. If I wanted to train Hunter with other methods than Hunter Rumors, I would exclusively do Birdhouse runs every hour for chip experience and a bit of GP, and Maniacal Monkey Hunting, which is the most AFK method in the entire skill for upwards of 60k experience per hour, with barely any attention needed. Being a gathering skill, everything you get from Hunter means 100% profit for you, so do this as one of your first 99s if you want to fund another skill. In my honest opinion, mining is the absolute worst skill in the entire game, and for it, I would want to get it over as soon as possible. Just like thieving, we have a ton of methods so you can experiment to see what you can stomach the most, but this is how I would personally get from 1 to 99 in 2025. Early game questing will put us close to level 40, and I would use iron ore to get to level 45. This unlocks the best training method in the entire game in the form of 3-tick granite, and I'm 100% honest, I would do this from 45 to 99 to get it over as soon as I can. I would go to Camptorum for AFK experience and bone shards for prayer, and a little bit of Motherlode mine to get my full prospector outfit. Notable activities include AFK star mining, camping the Motherlode mine for a few levels, gem rocks, volcanic mine, the blast mine, amethyst rocks, and probably one of the best methods, Zalcano in small teams, which can grant upwards of 80k experience per hour. I really can't stress this enough, you have to find your favorite method because this 99 is genuine torture and misery. Thankfully, smithing is much faster and this segment will also be pretty quick. As an unrestricted account, your path is pretty simple. Do the 9th sword quest from levels 1 to 29, smith the best item at an anvil you can from levels 29 to 60, and from there, go to the blast furnace in Keldegrim to smith gold ore from level 60 to 99 with your goldsmith gauntlets and ice gloves in the bank. For iron, we have the Giant's Foundry, and although this will take slightly longer because you need all the materials to be able to do it for a long time, remember that this is something Jagex offered people to recycle their materials, and should not be done to reach level 99 unless you're an iron account with excess metal items. Fishing falls in the exact same category as mining. A boring gathering skill with a ton of options for which you only have to find your favorite one and see what you like the most for 99. Early game questing is mostly limited to the fishing contest and the sea slug. After that, fly fishing to 50 or 60 so you can start exploring. For me, basically, I would be doing mass temporos with a crystal harpoon at level 70 plus for tons of experience, and barbarian fishing for some AFK time. Notable activities include aerial fishing at 43, Karam ones at 65, 2-tick harpooning at 71, infernal eels at 80, anglerfish at 82, and finally sacred eels at level 87. Remember, you might want to get a few extra levels before a new method so you have a higher chance of catching fish, otherwise it's going to be a little slower. Driftnet fishing is something I don't recommend because of how click intensive it is, and because this is a hybrid training method, I would rather full focus on fishing and hunter. Cooking can be summarized in the following actions. Cook the best fish or meat available to you at all levels, and then maybe get 3 or 5 more levels above the required one to burn less food. And then, at level 35, you can start fermenting jugs of wine for one of the cheapest 99s in the entire game. You stop failing fermenting these at level 68, and keep in mind that this method is relatively click intensive. You also have 1-tick Karambo and cooking for up to 900-1000 experience per hour, but honestly this is pretty click intensive, so I wouldn't readily recommend doing it unless you're an Ironman who already has a lot of Karambo in the bank. Firemaking is even simpler. Burn the highest tier of log you can all the way to level 50, and then you're heading straight to Wintertoad. Do this until you have a full set of Pyromancer robes and continue the grind, or if you want the best experience per hour, stay burning the best tier of log you can, although using magics will be pretty expensive. Things get much better at level 90 when you can burn redwood, and for some AFK time there's a new activity in the game in the form of bonfires. add logs to existing fire for 33% of their total provided experience, and this should only be done when you can't full focus on the game and still want one of the easiest 99s in old school RuneScape. For the last time, woodcutting falls in the same category as mining and fishing. Tons of training methods for a boring gathering skill, but realistically you want to stick to a few of them to avoid losing the rhythm. I would personally stick to chopping the best tier of tree I can with the best axe at my disposal in forestry worlds. Doing so will award you up to 10 boosted levels in the skill when multiple people are chopping the same tree, and with forestry events you will get even more experience in woodcutting, and then even other skills such as thieving and hunter. I would do normal logs, oaks, and then willows at their respective levels, and then stick to teak trees from levels 50 all the way to 99. Other things you can do include 2 tick teaks for even more experience, still use up woodcutting for a more engaging way to train the skill, blister woods for a bit of AFK time after completion of Sins of the Father, and the iconic redwoods at level 90 for great chances at the beaver pet. Remember to test out the Dragon Axe, Infernal Axe, Crystal Axe, and the Felling Axe to see which one you like the most. Personally, I recommend the Infernal Axe for some chip firemaking experience. Last one on the list we have farming, and this is the only time-gated skill in the entire game. The only thing you can do to train the skill actively is a tithe farm, which caps out at around 110,000 experience per hour at level 74, and other than this you should always do your farm runs whenever you can. Herbs grow every 80 minutes, fruit trees grow every 16 hours, and you have other patches with different growth times like irregular trees, allotments, and flowers. Remember to participate in farming contracts at the farming guild to get Hespori seeds, because the Chrono seed will speed up growth, and the Atta seed will increase your yield. Boys and girls, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something useful. If you did, tell me in the comments if you want to max in OSRS or if you don't, and also tell me why. If you include the term RSN and your username in your comment, you'll be entered in our weekly bond giveaway for which we will pick a winner on Friday's stream. A massive thank you to all my channel members and the people gifting subs. Your support goes a long way and my family and I cannot thank you enough for it. If you want to become part of this list of legends, click the join button below to see all the cool perks you can receive for a monetary subscription and will be useful in the videos, in the live streams, and of course in the Discord. In the next one, we will have the first revamped 1 to 99 guide of 2025, where I will teach you how to get levels 99 in all melee combat stats efficiently and by having a ton of fun along the way. For now, I hope you have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.